Hello guys, this is Broadcasting Because, and welcome to the very first episode of this Portsmouth career mode with FIFA 12. I'm so excited to finally get this series underway, and as you can see, we are ready to go with Portsmouth Football Club. The N-Power Championship awaits. Now what I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to be playing on World Class with 6-minute halves. I would play on Legendary, but I think just to watch, it's not as fun, and I probably won't be able to get any decent highlights if I were to play on Legendary. Unknown manager appointed. Well done, Portsmouth. I think you've chosen the right man. Well, first things first, with a new side, I'm going to check out the squad to see who they have. They've got a couple of decent players, Portsmouth. The only problem is quite a few of them are getting into the high 20s and early 30s. Mullins there in particular, who's 32. I will most likely end up selling some of those older players just to make way for some younger guys. Eric Husserklep, a very good player for Portsmouth. I will be playing a 4-4-2 formation, which I haven't set up just as of yet. Fulax, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I've probably botched that completely, but nevertheless, he's got pretty much no pace about him, but is very strong. Benjani on the bench. Varney will definitely start for me. And taking a look, some decent players in reserves. Kanu was very good, particularly when Portsmouth were in the Premier League a few years ago, but he's 34, so he probably won't be at the club for much longer. And a lot of 16, 17, 18-year-olds in the reserves as well for Portsmouth, so I'll see if I can loan those guys out for a decent period of time. Open up the inbox now. We have some mail from the Portsmouth board with the season expectations. They would like us to reach the round of 16 of a domestic cup, which will be tough, but I do think it's doable. Finish mid-table in the season, which I think is certainly doable. We would like to push for promotion, that's for sure. And also a notification that the transfer window is now open. As I mentioned earlier, I signed a lot of the younger kids, a couple of 16, 17-year-olds out for loan. Hopefully they can get some experience. None of their ratings are too high, a lot of 50s there, and I really don't think I'll have much use for them during this season. I did list Kanu and Mullins because they are getting a bit old, and I think I can definitely find better players for their positions. And this is when I start to look to bring guys in. Leandro Greco, I know, is a good player for Roma. I saw him on the transfer list and thought I'd just put in a 2.7 million offer for him. I make a few offers for a couple of guys. Emmanuel Agyemang Badu as well is a young player. Hopefully could fill Mullins' spot. I think he's only 20. He's got a bit of pace about him as well. And then Fernando Cannison, he is very expensive. I really only put in a bid just to test the water to see if they were willing to sell him rather. Moving on, and Derby County can come in and make an offer for Lawrence. It's 1.7 million. Lawrence is getting on a bit. He's 29. I wasn't planning to use him so much this season, so I thought I could put that money to a much better cause. We see there Udinese accepting my offer for Agyemang Badu. I bet I'm going to stuff that name up so many times this season. Send off the contract offer. He looks to be a good player. The suggestion is £20,000. So I put in 16.5, a £1.5 increase on what his current wage is, just to test that out. Now this bloke right here, Marvel Wine, is the second fastest player in the game from Colorado Rapids. Cheap as chips. He's only worth £400,000, I believe. Put in a 5.5 offer for him. I'd love to pick him up to add some pace to the back line. Probably play him on the wings. We see Roma as well here coming back and accepting the offer that I put forward for Leandro Greco, who would play in the same position as Agyemang Badu. Now I've got a very tough decision to make. Greco is a bit older, but he is better. Agyemang Badu is younger, he's faster, not quite as good. I do continue and put in a wage offer just in case. I think it's good to chase two players in case one of them pulls out. If I had to choose, I probably would end up going with Agyemang Badu. Here I receive an offer from Leeds United for Ben Haim. I'm not exactly sure if I want to sell him, so I do hang on to him. We see a few more offers as well. We get one from Bradford City to take Thompson on loan. He's one of the younger guys that I looked to loan out earlier on. He's 18, I believe, maybe 17, and I think it'd be good for him to get some experience on loan. And then Hull City come in with a transfer offer for Mullins. He's 32 years old. I don't think I'm going to have much use for him, so he now has a new home at Hull City as well. Ben Haim, still not sure if I want to sell him. I'm a bit short on defenders, so I hang on to him for the time being. Now this is what I like to see. Emmanuel Agyemang-Badu comes back, accepts the wage offer that I put forward of $16,500 a week. Thank you very much. Welcome to Portsmouth, Emmanuel. We now have a new centre mid. But out of absolutely nowhere, Leandro Greco comes back and accepts the wage offer that I put forward. I hadn't heard from him for a week and a half. I thought that the deal had fallen through. I had already accepted Agyemang-Badu, so I couldn't accept Greco straight away because I didn't have enough wage or enough transfer budget. Plus, I would like to keep some in reserve if I do look to make further transfers down the track and also into the January transfer window, so I did stall on that for the time being. Preston North End came in with an offer for Kanu. He's 34 years old. I really can't see him starting much or playing at all for us this season, so I sold him off to Preston North End for just 10 grand under the expectation. So here we go, we're finally ready for the first match of this Portsmouth campaign. We're up against Norwich City, a Premier League side at home, and I've decided to leave a lot of my starting 11 guys off for this first game. I think I'm going to give a chance to a lot of the younger guys who won't get much of a chance at all throughout the rest of the season, see if I can get anything out of them and see if there's anything there to work with. Up against Norwich City, pretty much their full strength lineup. You've got Grant Holt, John Ruddy, and those sorts of guys. So they're playing pretty much their first team lineup, Norwich City. I wasn't disappointed at all, in fact, with our early efforts on goal. Norris there with his shot from just outside the box, the first shot of the season. Unfortunately, it was difficult to find highlights for the first half hour. It was very much a battle of the midfield, but then Kitson plays a lovely ball over the top to Futaks, who finishes off the post for the very first goal of this campaign, absolutely making a mockery of Carl Norton. Well done, Futaks. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but nevertheless, very happy with that. A good punch away from the goalkeeper as well, and Futaks was in everything early on. He had 3 shots throughout the first half. They were probably the 2 best ones. The other one wasn't too good. But we did have certainly the majority of chances in the first half. Norwich did have the opportunity to level right on half-time, but they were called offside, and that's how we went into the half-time break. Portsmouth up 1-0 in the first friendly of the season. Very happy with our performance, particularly against a full-strength Premiership side. We started off the second half relatively well with our 2 defenders neutralising Wes Houlihan for Henderson to make the save, but unfortunately that was about where the highlights stopped for us. Grant Holt playing through Morrison, who delicately chips Henderson. Might have been able to do a bit better when he attacked Morrison, but nevertheless, Norwich City had their equaliser in the 63rd minute. We really struggled in attack early on in the second half, so I decided to bring on Benjani for Futaks as well as Webster, and things did turn around eventually when Benjani slotted this absolute beauty, killing it from outside the box. That is a lovely goal. Beats John Ruddy, who might have been able to do a bit better, but nevertheless, Wes Houlihan penetrates the defence, thunders it into Henderson, but is able to score the follow-up to bring scores level once again in the 79th minute, and then less than 3 minutes later they score, well, I don't know what to say about it. Grant Holt, an almost impossible header from a very nice cross. There was nothing that I could do about that. It found the bottom corner. Our defence picked up in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Webster managed to clear it before it got to Henderson. He's one of the young guys that I'm looking to send out on loan. Benjani, the super sub, had a chance to slot home his second from a very similar position to the one that he did before, but this time John Ruddy was up to the task, and unfortunately we did end up going down 3-2 for the first match of the season. I'm not going to lie, I am a bit disappointed that we didn't come away with the win. We had the lead twice, but I think considering that we were up against a first-rate lineup with a lot of reserve players, the performance that we put in isn't too bad. Well, that just about brings an end to episode number 1 of this Portsmouth Career Mode series. I'm yet to really come up with a name for it, actually. I was thinking maybe Road to something, but I don't know. I don't want to just keep on calling it the Portsmouth Career Mode series. So that's where I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Feel free to come up with your own name for this series. Send them in. The Facebook and Twitter pages are in the description below. If you want, you can also leave a comment on here. And also, this whole first episode, probably the next one or two as well, will just be experimental as to what works the best in terms of presenting this. So please do leave feedback, guys. It's always appreciated, and I hope to see you again for episode 2. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers, guys. Stay tuned.